Yo fam, what's up? Welcome to Zito Unfiltered. No filter, no feelings, just straight talk. I think a nice title for this episode should be The Necessary Evil. Why the capacity for violence protects peace. Now, the minute you talk about violence, a lot of people get uncomfortable. A lot of people want to pull back. But without considering that violence has its place in society. I'm not here to glorify violence, but just to let you know why the capacity for violence is extremely important. That's if it's not one of the most important things in keeping you, your loved ones, or your possessions safe. Now, like I said, the moment you say violence has a place in society, people think you're encouraging chaos. But that's not it. Violence by itself, yes, I agree, is destructive. But the ability to respond with force is the epitome of protection. Think about it. The only time thugs wouldn't dare mess with you is when they are aware that you possess the very same poison that they administer onto others. You possess that poison, and then you can inflict or administer that very same poison to them. You can literally feed them their own poison. If you look at bullies, criminals, abusers, they all have one thing in common. They pick on people who they pick on people who they believe are weaker than them. They're very calculating, these bullies. They want easy wins. They are not the kinds that stand up to resistance, and that's why they are called bullies. They don't like it when they have a match. They want to be the domineering part in whatever it is that they do, whether it's physically, mentally, or even financially. Even wild lions, they never chase the strongest buffalo in the herd. They will always go for that sick, limping one because they know. They are smart enough to avoid any confrontation because a confrontation to them is a risk. Now, animals and humans, we are mammals. We are not that different. I think the real difference between the violence that comes from a thug and the violence that comes from a protector is restraint. A thug will use violence to dominate and control those people that they think are weaker than them, whereas a protector has the ability to inflict serious violence, but they choose when to and they choose how to do it. I mean, guys that did karate or martial arts would be able to tell you that teaching restraint is one of the most important thing. But you go ahead and threaten someone who's done these jujitsu and the judo and the what have you, and you'll see what they are actually capable of. And I actually want to touch on a very personal issue as well. So I grew up as the eldest from my mom's side. I had a younger brother, and at home there were no men. And our neighbors was like full house, chock-a-block. There's like 16 people in the house. 7 of those 16 people were boys. They were cousins, and these guys used to bully me every day. They used to terrorize me. They used to murder the shit out of me, and it went on and on and on and on and on. up until one day I just decided I've had enough. I'm gonna moor these boys back. And it so happened that I went for the one, and they pakanyelaed me. So for those of you who don't know what pakanyela means, it means they ganged up on me. But on that day, I fought because I knew I had nothing to lose. I was tired of getting traumatized. And end of the story, at the end of the day, I moored all 7 of those cousins. And the beauty of that action meant that my bullying stopped. I no longer got bullied because these boys knew that their time had come to an end. It was no longer about them, but it was about me. I now made the rules to say, and hence I'm saying again, violence is very important, but you obviously need to know when and how to use it. I mean, it also applies on a bigger scale. I mean, like countries. If you look at a country like America didn't become the dominant country that it is because it was a peaceful country. America is a bully of note. If Russia did not have the ability to inflict serious violence on America, Trump and Bush and all those American presidents would have flattened Russia to the ground long ago, but they are acutely aware of what Russia is capable of when it comes to violence, when it comes to war. And that's why they use other proxies to fight their wars with Russia. So my takeaway is, let's not confuse peace with weakness, because real peace is actually when you have the skill, the will, and the strength to defend yourself, but you pair it with wisdom, and you restrain yourself to such an extent that you only use it when it is absolutely necessary. And in closing, I'm just going to say it again. Bullies hate resistance. Predators hate risks and confrontation. And they hate when someone has the capacity for violence, and when someone has the capacity to feed them their own poison, when someone is able to give them a taste of their own medicine. They don't like that. So whenever you look at the difference between peace and violence, it's not much. So don't throw peace in the front at the expense of violence. These two work hand in hand. Mr. Lindsay, to the number one motivators outside of the equator. Sharpen away. Check you in the next one.